Hello there. It is that time of the month again. It is the last Friday of the month, which means it's channel update time. And although I don't have too much to update you on, the update that I do have for you is quite significant. I've got one of these guys now. Yeah, most of you probably already know that I wiped out on the trail and ended up pretty much breaking my whole left foot. But luckily enough for me, it wasn't a break actually. I didn't actually break up the bone at all. I just ended up messing it up really bad. So essentially I can't walk on it. I can't put any weight on it. It hurts right now, like mildly. It's not bad. Advil's carrying a lot of the weight, but not to worry. But yeah, like I mentioned, it is the last Friday of every month. Last Friday of the month, I try to connect this a little bit so that we can connect the timelines and get an idea of, what's coming up on the channel, what's our plan for the channel, what are we doing, what am I doing right now, what do I got coming up. So what we've got going on right now, really, I guess where you guys are picking this up at is probably, quite a ways through the Mayhem series for this year. And I'll apologize for the cricket in the back there. I can't find him. I'm too debilitated to be able to chase crickets here tonight, and we're definitely within cricket season, but hang tight. I'll see if we can do something about them here for the meantime. There we go. If I throw something at it, it usually shuts up. So the Mayhem ride, yeah. That our summer series from New Brunswick has been really good. And so far, I've really been liking doing the videos every other week. But no, it was such a great series, and we're getting into the camp now. So by this time, you're probably watching this, or you're getting ready to watch, actually. They're really cool. Probably the best episode in the series is the series where, we do the descent down into Martin Head. We have a camp, and that was such a really great time. Not only did we have a lot of really great riders for that one, but we got to meet a lot of different people, a lot of different riders, and there's some cool people that I hope you got introduced to this time. That's really good. Anyway, on to the real news, this old thing. Yeah, so how did I get this? The details, probably what you're after. So what ended up happening is basically I went for a ride after work. It was just a regular Wednesday, but this summer has been so rainy. The trail riding has been just non-existent, for me. And so I ended up really wanting to go on a trail ride. So I packed on all the motocross trail gear, the Thor rig in the front, the goggles on the helmet, the motocross jersey, and of course the boots and the rest of the gear, right? And I hit the trail and I went up to a spot that I go to a lot, which is why I wasn't filming, because, I like to kind of show you guys new things instead of repeating the same trail over and over again. Sometimes I just do that anyway, but this one I go to a lot. It's my stress reliever trail because there's such a healthy balance of mud and dust. It's Anderson Road up by Pointe de Roche, just behind the Scotchford Reserve. And I was going through there pretty hard because, of course, I was really eager to get back on the trails, and I was really enjoying the bike, being back at 100% health after our big long trip up into Quebec. And I was riding pretty aggressively, but I spotted this one little patch of mud, and I looked at it, and it was like that mud. There's different shades of mud. You've probably figured this out. You get your wet mud, which is just like a mud hole. You get into it and you get out. And you get your choppy mud, which is cuffed that kind of roosts up the back and slips around a little bit. But then you get this nice glazy mud, the stuff that kind of shines. It's got cracks through it and stuff. Well, that's what I saw. But I looked at the rut that it was in. And I'm like, oh, it's really deep. I'll just dig into that and just meet out of it. So I stand up on the bike. I go into it probably 40 kilometers an hour, pretty good pace, going into mud, and I just crank on the throttle as right up to just send it flying into the back, and that did not happen. Basically the bike just did what it does when it wipes out, especially on these Shinko tires. It just went right to this. You know what? I don't have any footage of it, but it felt like this. Whoa. Whoa. It's technically not down. It's down. Yeah, so that's basically how it went down, and that's happened to me so many different times because it's a characteristic trait of the Shinko 805 in the back. Now, I talk to you guys all the time about when you ask me for tire recommendations, I say the Shinko 805, and then I say, but it slips out to the side, and you got to kind of dial that in on your riding a little bit. And I've done that in the past, and that's the kind of slip I'm talking about. That uncontrollable bike has a mind of its own, sliding out to the side, laying down. There's nothing you can do about it. But essentially, I was like, well, I can't get on the bike, but I was kind of like, well, imagine that this is the new bike, by the way. Do you love this thing or what? You got like the mods. I got the headlight mod on it here, and I got the little sack for carrying beers. But like I was on the bike like this, and I'm riding, and then as soon as it goes to the side, you know, my first instinct is just to kind of like hop off and go. But what ended up happening is that, you know, I got my foot caught under it like this, and then the bike went down, and basically, you know, like my foot, it came down on the heel, and just kind of imagine your toes trying to touch the bottom of your heel. That's basically what happened. But luckily I was wearing my my boots. I have a pair of Alpine Star Corazal Dry Star boots, and they have a really great hinge system. They have excellent like heel like structure and ankle structure, so it prevented the foot from just completely folding in on itself, and it saved a lot of it. But in the process, and ended up really messing things up. Like here, you can take a look. I'll try to throw up a couple screenshots of the x-ray. Again, there's no broken bones or anything, but man, it's a mess. It's all black and stuff, just crazy. So I got some work to do on that. Let's go over to the bench. I'll tell you about some more stuff that's coming up. Whoa. I'm like wheeling around all over the house with this little scooter thing. It's such a cool little thing. I love it. Mrs. Dowski rented it for me actually, so that I'd have a little bit more independence, because she knows me very well, and she knows that I'm like very antsy. I can't sit around for too long. Funny thing is, actually, she had the same injury, not from a motorcycle, but she just fell down the stairs in the house, and the same thing happened. She just landed right on top of her foot, and it ended up being way worse than mine. She broke like all of her metatarsals in her right row. She was like, you know, hung up for like months. And unfortunately, I'm staring down the same kind of recovery time, because I've got surgery here coming up. I'm filming this right now on Monday, and you guys are watching it on Friday. It's Wednesday. And I got to have 2 pins and a plate put under my foot to kind of reconnect everything. So like my big toe kind of just like, you know, like that and dislocated. So it has to be like sealed back in. It's crazy, because if I put weight on it, the thing like the joint like spreads out. It's all bad news. But I'm gonna get it done. I've got about 2 weeks recovery from surgery straight up, and I got 2 to 3 months of recovery of just not doing stuff, you know, which means my ride season's done. That's right. I was really looking forward to a great fall ride season. I had a nice trip to Cape Breton or to Nova Scotia. I was like balancing, trying to figure out which one to do. So that's a big bummer, actually. That's actually a really annoying thing, because like, I don't know, fall just happens to be my favorite time, most favorite time to ride the motorcycle. And yeah, it's just not going to happen. And this is like pretty much the second year in a row where it's not going to happen. Like I got some fall riding in last year, but with Fiona, I lost out on the ride season in like one of the best times. And it's kind of a bummer. So it kind of throws a wrench in all of my plans. So I'm going to throw a new bolt into the machine and wrench on a new plan. So, and the reason why the angles might be kind of weird on this camera, on this video, and I don't know if you got noticed or not, but most of my camera equipment's with Josh. You know, Island Rider Josh. We've been out riding together. He's done a channel update with me before. He's the guy we were working on. He was doing like that remote distribution system disconnect, like the wireless distribution system. Anyway, he's taken my kit, and he's going out and he's going to film a couple videos for us, which is awesome. I'm so thankful for that. Thank you, Josh, if you're watching this. I really appreciate you taking on the, you know, all that stuff. It's going to be great. But he's not the only one. We've got some other Island Riders who are going to take the cameras and go get us some footage. So, you know, that's the beauty of calling this channel Island ADV. It's not Dowski's Motorcycle Adventures or anything. It's Island ADV. So anybody really, you know, can take an Island PEI adventure and put it up on this channel. And that was the kind of design, because eventually, you know, I'm probably, you know, let's be honest. I mean, this isn't like, you know, the thing that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So like, you know, when it comes time for me to not do YouTube videos anymore, I can still keep the channel open. And if there's someone on the island who wants to put up a video on Island ADV, then it's still applicable, right? So yeah, we've got the Island Rider group working, a few people working on videos for us. So I can't wait to see what they come with. I gave them complete creative license. This is their video, you know, this is what they want to show it. I think it's going to be way more interesting that way. So that's what we're going to see in the postseason. So after the Big Trip series, We're going to see some guest videos, and I think that's going to be super cool. I really can't wait to see what they come up with. Some of them are doing their own editing. Some of them I'm going to do the editing, but I'm just going to go with the vibe of whatever they're filming, right? I'm going to try to suss out the story in their adventure and try to share with you all. So I'm really, really pumped for that, actually. I think that'll be really fun to do. Aside from that, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm out of work 2.0. I'm working from home here after surgery, so I'm just going to be laid up. At some point in time, I will recover around January, which will get me back into what I need to be, which will get me back onto the bike to start doing a few of the things that I've wanted to do for a long time. So a couple things on my list for the off season, steel braided brake lines. I did a lot of work on the back brake of the KLR, the Silver Fox here after the trip to get it back to good. There were so many brake failures. We had a seized piston in the caliper. We had a seized caliper bracket. And we had, toasted back brakes from the trip. So I had to fix all that. It took me about 2 hours, but as soon as I did do a full tear down of the brake and rebuild and clean, I noticed I had so much more stopping power on the back brake. So now I'm thinking, there's more braking capability for the Silver Fox here if I just put a little bit of effort, maybe a tiny bit of money into it too. So we'll see where that takes us. I think I'm really excited to do the same kind of thing to the front brake, so I'm looking forward to that. Aside from that, I got some engine stuff that needs to be taken care of, valve checks. We got to do the carburetor clean. So I've got lots to do. Even though I'm going to be laid up for quite a little bit, there's still lots to do, but I'm going to be taking it easy as much as I can. Aside from that, Island Riders, I hope your fall season is going great. I hope you've got some adventures planned. And if you do, let me know, what are they? What do you got going on? Are you taking the bike over to a new place you haven't been? Are you going to go check out the fall leaves? Maybe you're going to hide away somewhere sunny for the wintertime. Let me know. I always love hearing about your adventures. So definitely let me know about that in the comments. Anyway, I am going to get back to sitting down somewhere and elevating my foot, because me doing video stuff like this is kind of not really allowed. But, Mrs. Dowski has some good patience, but, there's always an empty to that tank, right? So if you're out riding, please ride safe. Wear your gear. Holy smokes, wear your proper footwear. Use me as a test case. I'm going to roll out of here, but until the next time we meet, be it here in the garage or be it on an adventure somewhere that I filmed in the summertime, take care. Ride safe. Whoa. Gotta get this sucker turned around here now. Wow.